The building moves. Not like an earthquake, not the rolling grind you feel through your feet and up your spine. This is a push. A single, massive, invisible hand pressing against every surface at once, walls, floor, ceiling, my chest, all of it shoved inward at the exact same moment. The lights die. The sound comes a fraction of a second later. Not a bang. Not a roar. A pressure wave I feel in my back teeth and behind my eyeballs. A frequency too low for human hearing that my body understands as something ancient and wrong, something it was never built to survive. Then silence. 2 seconds of complete silence. I am in the basement of my building on West 51st Street in Manhattan. I am flat against the concrete floor with my arms laced over my head. I have 48 liters of water. I have 43 cans of food. I have a hand crank radio that is not working yet. I have duct tape sealing every gap in this room, the vent, the door, the pipe junctions, the hairline cracks that appeared in the concrete the moment the wave hit. I have been down here for 40 seconds. The ceiling above me is making a sound like a ship under pressure. And somewhere above that ceiling, somewhere past 9 floors of concrete and rebar and plaster and glass that used to be my home, the city is on fire. 32 minutes ago, my brother called me. He told me I had 30 minutes. He was right. 11:47 a.m. on a Tuesday in March, and the city below my office looks exactly the way it always does. I am on the 23rd floor of a glass building on 6th Avenue. Software analyst. 10 years running data patterns for a logistics firm whose name does not matter anymore. Taxis moving in pulses with the traffic signals. The sandwich cart on the corner with its usual line of 12 people. The woman in the building across who waters her plants at the exact same time every morning. I notice these things because I notice everything. Pattern recognition is how I think. It is also, as it turns out, how I survive. My phone rings. James, my brother, Fort Meade, Maryland. U.S. Army Signals Intelligence, 6 years. He never calls during work hours. He never calls without a reason. I answer the way I always answer him. Casual, present, no preamble. James, what's up? He doesn't say hello. He doesn't waste a word. His voice is flat in a way I haven't heard since our father's funeral, which was 11 years ago. Marcus, are you sitting down? Not a question. I'm at work. Leave right now. Walk down. Do not take the elevator. Are you moving? I stand up from my desk. My chair rolls back and hits the partition behind me. I'm up. What's happening? I am on a classified system at Fort Meade, and I am not supposed to be making this call. There is a nuclear warhead inbound on Manhattan, launched 47 minutes ago. Impact estimated at 12:17 p.m. I look at the clock on my monitor. 11:47. I have 30 minutes. The room doesn't change. The taxis still move. The sandwich cart still has its line of 12 people. The woman is still watering her plants across the street. I am holding a phone, and the world is exactly the same as it was 15 seconds ago, and also it is over. How certain, I say. NORAD confirmed 9 minutes ago. 3 warheads. Washington, Chicago, Manhattan. This is not a drill, Marcus. This is not an error. Blast radius. 80 kilotons. Fireball half a mile. Lethal blast pressure 2 miles. Degree burns on exposed skin at 3.5 miles. You are on 6th Avenue. You are 2.5 miles from the Empire State Building. I am already walking toward the stairwell door. You need to get below ground, James says. Basement or sub-basement, deeper is better. You have 30 minutes, enough time to gather supplies if you move right now. Do not drive. Roads lock in 12 minutes when the alert goes public. Stay in your building, get below ground, seal the room. James. I cannot stay on this call. Marcus. A pause. You know what to do. You have always known what to do. The line goes dead. I put the phone in my pocket. I push open the stairwell door. And I calculate while I run. Not what do I want, what do I need? Water first. The body survives 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water. 7 days in a sealed basement means 14 liters minimum, but I need buffer. I need 20. My apartment has 12. The CVS on 48th has the rest. 28 minutes. The emergency broadcast goes out at 11:49. I hear it on a phone at the 14th floor landing. A flat electronic tone, then a synthetic voice reading facts that have not yet rearranged themselves into meaning for the people hearing them. This is an emergency alert. This is not a test. A nuclear threat has been detected targeting the New York metropolitan area. The screaming starts before the message finishes. Not from outside. From the floors above me, offices emptying at once, 300 people hitting a stairwell designed for orderly evacuation, not for this. I hit the lobby at 11:51, 6 blocks to my building, 26 minutes on the clock. The street outside is fracturing in real time. Not collapsed, not yet. The way a pane of glass looks in the half-second between impact and fall. A cab driver abandoned mid-intersection, door open, running toward Penn Station on foot. A woman on a fire hydrant with her head between her knees. A man in a suit throwing his briefcase into a trash can, picking it back up, throwing it again. The subway entrances are already 40-person deep, people going underground, which is exactly right, except those tunnels seal at both ends and go nowhere. I turn north. I run towards CVS on 48th. The city is making a sound I have never heard before, not sirens, not screaming, not traffic, all of it at once, a frequency that means the system is ending. The CVS on 48th is open. Automatic doors propped with a garbage can, not the first person here. I step in. Lights are on, store is empty, not stripped, empty. Like everyone in it stood up and walked out mid-sentence. A granola bar on the floor near the register. A tipped shopping basket with shampoo rolling out. A woman's phone face-up on the pharmacy counter still showing the alert, screen still lit, battery at 63%. I have 24 minutes. Water aisle first. 3 cases of 1-liter bottles on the bottom shelf. I carry 2. 24 liters from the store plus 12 in my apartment, 36 total. 5 days at minimum hydration, not 7. I stack them by the door and keep moving. Canned food, logic over preference. Tuna, beans, sardines, chickpeas, condensed soup. 2 large jars of peanut butter. 3 sleeves of crackers. 4 bags of dried fruit. Every energy bar on the rack, 30-something, I don't count, I sweep. Each item is a day or a fraction of a day. Pharmacy section. 3rd shelf from the bottom, half hidden behind a display of allergy tablets, a cardboard box. ThyroShield, potassium iodide 65 milligrams, 2 boxes remaining. I take both. Without KI pills, radioactive iodine from the fallout accumulates in the thyroid faster than any other organ. It is the difference between surviving 7 days and not surviving them. I have been planning for a scenario like this since 2019, when I read a FEMA preparedness manual on a slow Sunday and could not stop thinking about it. I have never bought KI pills before. I buy them now. Every bottle of ibuprofen and acetaminophen, a box of nitrile gloves, 2 boxes of N95 masks. The fallout that settles on everything is radioactive particulate, and every micron I filter is a dose I don't absorb. A full first aid kit. scissors, heavy-duty garbage bags, 2 battery flashlights with every AA pack on the rack, a hand-crank NOAA emergency radio from the end cap, still in its box, $14. Behind the register, a large plastic storage bin used for online pickups. I take it, load everything in, test the weight, 50 pounds, manageable with both handles. I drag it to the door. 3 more things on the way out. 2 lighters, a multi-tool from the camping section, a gray hoodie, XXL, still in packaging, because if I end up outside after detonation, every inch of exposed skin is a radiation surface. It is 11:58 when I step back onto the street. 19 minutes until impact. 6 blocks to my building. And the street in front of me is something I have not seen before and do not have a word for yet. 8 million people processing the same information at slightly different speeds produces a specific chaos, not a wave, not a flood, something more like a liquid that has forgotten its surface tension. Cars stopped everywhere, a delivery truck on the sidewalk, a taxi door open in the center lane, engine running, driver gone. A man in a gray suit grabs my arm, hard, the grip of assessment, not aggression. What's in there? What do you have? CVS on 48th, let go. He releases me. He's already running before I finish the sentence. He's wearing dress shoes. He won't make it back in time. I pick up the bin. I run. The lobby of my building is 40 people trying to leave through 2 glass doors. At the stairwell door in the back, a man I know. Darnell, 6th floor, building super. He fixes things without being asked and never wants credit for it. He has a master key ring on his belt and a large duffel bag over one shoulder, and his arm extended across the stairwell door like a gate. Basement's full. Flat, final, not hostile, a statement of what is. I've got my family down there, 4 people, we're full. I push through the lobby crowd until I'm standing in front of him. Darnell, it's Marcus, 9B. He looks at me, then at the bin. I told you we're full. Something passes between us in that pause, the arithmetic of survival. He sees what I have. I see what he has. A duffel that sits too light on his shoulder for a man who has been preparing for something. I have 2 cases of water, I say. I have potassium iodide tablets, 2 boxes, N95 masks, a full first aid kit, hand crank radio. I have water. How much? He doesn't answer. I have enough water and medicine for 6 people for 7 days, Darnell. How much water is in that bag? A long beat. He looks at the KI boxes in my hand. He moves his arm. The stairwell door swings open, and the smell of concrete and old pipe comes up from below, and I drag the bin through the doorway, and we go down together into the dark. 18 minutes until impact. The storage room is 16 feet by 22 feet, with a 9-foot ceiling. 4 military-style cots, a folding table, an old generator that has not run in years, 6 cardboard boxes of holiday decorations stacked against the east wall, and 1 air vent. I counted twice. 1. That vent is how radiation gets in. That vent is the first thing we seal. Darnell's family, Keisha, his wife, early 30s, natural hair pulled back, wearing a puffer coat over a sweater, the expression of someone spending every unit of composure they have on staying composed. Patricia, his mother, 72, silver hair, reading glasses on a chain, holding a well-worn Bible with both hands, not visibly afraid in the way that suggests she has survived things before. Marcus Jr. and Maya, twins, 7 years old, sitting under the folding table playing cards with complete concentration, the way children do when they have decided that if they act normal hard enough, the world will be normal too. I set down the bin. I look at the vent. Duct tape. In the bag. Darnell tapes the vent full coverage, 6 inches past every edge, corners doubled, palm pressed. I unpack and organize on the folding table. Water to the left in rows, food by category, medicine by priority. The KI pills I keep separate. There is a utility bathroom in the corridor. Toilet, sink, tap. Does that run? Darnell turns it on. Water comes out. Fill everything, every container. If mains pressure drops in the blast, I want every bottle full before it does. We have 15 minutes. I distribute the potassium iodide. 65 milligrams for adults, half dose for the children. Patricia asks me what they are. I tell her plainly, not to minimize, not to catastrophize. Radioactive iodine is a fallout component. The thyroid absorbs it preferentially. These tablets saturate the thyroid with stable iodine first, so the radioactive form has nowhere to go. Taken before or within 4 hours of exposure, they reduce thyroid dose by up to 95%. She takes her tablet without another word and returns to her Bible. I take out a notebook from Darnell's duffel. He doesn't ask why. I write across the top, day 1. Below it, 12 p.m. Then the supply manifest. Water, 48 liters. Food, 43 cans, 32 energy bars, 2 jars peanut butter, 3 sleeves crackers, 4 bags dried fruit. Medicine, KI distributed, ibuprofen ×4, acetaminophen ×4, first aid kit complete. Equipment, multi-tool, duct tape ×3 rolls, flashlights ×3, batteries ×8 packs, hand crank radio. Rationing plan below that. Water, 600 ml per person per day, above the clinical dehydration threshold, below what the body wants, the line we live on. Food, 1 protein can plus 1 energy bar plus crackers per person per meal, 2 meals per day, 14 total meals across 7 days. Meal 14 is the door. I show Darnell, he reads it, nods once. What happens after 14? Keisha asks. I look at her, I look at the twins. We open the door, I say. What if? One thing at a time, we have 8 minutes. We tape the door. 3 minutes. Every edge of the door, 4 layered strips at the bottom, 2 each side, 3 across the top. I find the pipe gaps. 4 pipes through the ceiling wall, centimeter clearance around each. Tape. The electrical box on the far wall. Tape. The junction where corridor door meets ceiling. Tape. The 3rd roll runs out. And then I hear it. Not the explosion I expected. The city takes a breath. A long, slow, involuntary inward breath, as if every cubic meter of air in Manhattan has been pulled toward a single point to the south. Then complete silence. 2 seconds of it. I am already on the floor with my arms over my head. Everyone else follows 1 beat behind me. Then the building moves. The push is unlike anything I can reference, a single enormous force applied to every surface simultaneously, so that the room doesn't shake so much as compress, the way a chest feels when the wind gets knocked out. The bare bulb on the ceiling swings. The water bottles in their rows topple. The vent tape bows inward. 1 corner of the door seal separates. I am across the room before the motion stops, pressing fresh tape over the gap with both palms, leaning my full weight into the adhesive. Darnell is at the vent doing the same. We don't speak. We both know that the blast was the easy part. What comes next, the fallout, the air, the dark, the math, that is the part that takes 7 days to survive. The generator doesn't start. Darnell pulls the cord, once, twice, 3 times. The engine clears its throat and then nothing. 20-year-old machine, not serviced in a decade. He built his basement plan around this generator, and the plan has a hole in it the size of the generator. He stares at it. I do not say anything. We have 3 flashlights. We light 2, leave the third for reserve. The room is very small, when you can only see as far as a flashlight beam. The twins are not playing cards anymore. They are sitting on a cot between Keisha and Patricia, not making a sound, not crying, not speaking, just sitting with their hands in their laps and their eyes on the flashlight beam, absorbing what the adults are doing. I turn on the hand crank radio at 12:19, 2 minutes after impact. Static across FM, static across most of AM. Then on 1640, the FEMA emergency frequency, a voice. Automated flat reading facts. Confirmed nuclear detonation in the New York metropolitan area at approximately 12:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Citizens are advised to remain sheltered in place. Do not attempt to leave your shelter for a minimum of 48 hours. Radiation levels in the impact zone are currently unsurvivable. Citizens within a 20-mile radius. I turn the volume down before the room processes it. Too late. Everyone heard the number. We're 2.5 miles from the detonation point, I say. The 48-hour window is the critical zone. Gamma radiation from surface fallout drops to roughly 1% of initial level at 48 hours. If we stay sealed, if we don't open anything, we have a real chance. Nobody asks what a real chance means in exact numbers. Nobody wants to know yet. The air is the problem. I haven't spoken out loud. Keisha speaks it first, which is the right order. She's the one who has been sitting quietly doing the same calculation. What about air? This room is 16 by 22 by 9 feet, approximately 3,150 cubic feet of enclosed space. 6 people breathing roughly 0.2 liters of oxygen per minute each, 1.2 liters per minute total. At rest, with controlled breathing, we have close to 20 hours of usable air. Less if anyone panics. Less if body temperatures rise. Less if the children are not calm. I explain this without softening it. Then I explain the solution. The vent is our oxygen source. We unseal it at intervals, 4 minutes open every 6 hours, then retaped. 14 cycles across 7 days. Each cycle introduces fresh air and a controlled dose of outside radiation. We are choosing between managed radiation exposure and slow suffocation. We choose the vent. 4 minutes every 6 hours, Keisha says. Yes. And the radiation from those 4 minutes is orders of magnitude less than staying sealed and running out of oxygen. The KI tablets cover the thyroid. The N95 masks cover particulate. We stay back from the vent during the open cycle. We minimize exposure. She looks at me for a long moment. Then she nods, once, the way people nod when they've decided to trust someone they've just met because there are no other options. Patricia says nothing. She has opened her Bible to somewhere in the middle. I write the vent schedule in the notebook. First cycle, 7:00 p.m. today. It is currently 12:31 p.m. 6.5 hours until fresh air. Maya raises her hand like she is in school. This is the moment that resets the room. Not the vent discussion, not the rationing plan, not even the blast itself. A 7-year-old girl raising her hand with perfect patience. I look at her. What's meal one, she says. I almost laugh. The feeling is so unexpected in this room at this moment that my face doesn't quite know what to do with it. Peanut butter and crackers. Okay, she says, and she picks up her cards. She and her brother go back to their game under the table with the same concentration they had before the world ended, and something in the room exhales, not tension exactly, but the specific fear that everyone was about to come apart at once. Children understand more than they are told. They also understand better than adults that continuing is a choice you make out loud. Patricia looks at Maya and then at me, and something passes across her face, not exactly a smile, but its structural relative. I sit at the folding table and write the first entry in the notebook. Day 1, 12:35 p.m. Status: all persons present, all KI tablets distributed, seals intact, radio operational, generator non-functional, flashlight reserve sufficient. Water 48 liters. Meals remaining 14. The first mark. 13 to go. Day 1, 5:00 p.m. Meal 1. Peanut butter on crackers measured by the spoon, not by taste, not by hunger, by the schedule in the notebook. 1 energy bar per person. Water portioned in bottle caps, 600 ml, not approximate, measured. Patricia eats slowly. The twins eat fast and glance at each other to verify the portions are equal, the way twins always do, and declare themselves satisfied. Darnell eats standing up, back to the table facing the door. I make the first mark in the notebook. 13 to go. At 7:00 p.m. I peel the vent tape at one corner, time it on my phone, 4 minutes exactly. The air changes the second the gap opens. Not a dramatic freshening, subtle, the way a cracked window feels different even when you can't feel the breeze. Every set of lungs in the room takes a slightly deeper breath. Patricia says, "Oh, just that." I retape at 4 minutes and 12 seconds, which is 12 seconds too long, and I make a note to be more precise next time. Day 2 to 14 a.m. The generator starts. Not because Darnell touched it. On its own, a cough, a sputter, the wheeze of an engine that has been dead for years finding a residual charge from the blast current in the building's wiring. 3 seconds of full noise. Then the bare bulb on the ceiling turns on, and the room we have been living in by flashlight beams suddenly has corners and edges and shadows and real geometry. Maya looks up at the bulb. "There," she says, as if she made it happen. Maybe she did. Day 2, 11:03 a.m. I turn on the radio for the daily check. The FEMA broadcast is still running. Updates now. Secondary detonation confirmed in Chicago at 12:21 p.m. yesterday. Detonation confirmed in Washington, D.C. at 12:19 p.m. Citizens are reminded to remain sheltered in place. Federal emergency infrastructure is currently. I turn the volume down. Keisha has heard it. She knows where Fort Meade is relative to Washington, D.C. I have not told her about James. She works it out from the way I looked when I turned the radio down. She reaches over and puts her hand on top of mine. That's all, just that. I don't move my hand. Day 3. Patricia's lips are cracking. She is rationing her water ration, a 72-year-old woman voluntarily drinking less than the minimum so the children have more. I add 100 milliliters to her cup without asking. I subtract it from mine. Darnell sees. He doesn't say anything. He subtracts the same from his and adds it to Keisha's, because Keisha has been giving half her portions to the children for 2 days and won't stop no matter what I say. We are all quietly giving water to each other. We are all quietly pretending we are not. Day 4. I find the crack. Nightly circuit, flashlight, slow loop, every taped surface. At the ceiling pipe junction on the east wall, a hairline fracture in the concrete itself. 6 inches long, running diagonal from the pipe entry toward the corner. Not from the tape, from the blast. I retape it, 4 layers, palm pressure. I note it in the notebook. I do not tell the others tonight. Tonight the twins are asleep. Day 5, Maya asks for a story. Not a scary one, she is specific about this. I tell her about James and the lake. We were 17 and 20, and we borrowed our mother's car without asking and drove to a lake we found on an old paper map that wasn't in any navigation app, and we swam in it even though there were no signs saying it was safe. James caught a fish with his bare hands. Genuinely, I watched it happen. His hands moved faster than I thought hands could move, and we cooked it over a fire we made with a lighter from our father's coat pocket. Maya listens to the whole thing. Did James get in trouble for the lighter? No, I did. I was older. She nods with complete satisfaction, as if this is precisely the correct and just outcome. Is James going to come find you when we get out? I look at the ceiling. I really hope so, I say. I really hope so. Day 6. The sky outside, which I cannot see but which I can infer from the quality of air during the vent cycle, feels different, less heavy. The particulate count in the air exchange has been diminishing in a way I can track by smell. Day 1 smelled like burning copper and the inside of a radiator. Day 6 smells like concrete dust and cold. The fallout is settling. The radiation is not gone, but the worst of the surface deposition is slowing. 1 day left. Meal 12 made, 2 to go. In the dark, in the off phases when the flashlight is resting, I think about James. He made a call from a classified system at Fort Meade. That call violated protocol in ways that have consequences I don't want to think about specifically. He made it anyway. Because I'm his brother. I take out my phone. No signal. There has been no signal since 12:19 p.m. on day 1. I open the last text thread with James. The last message he sent me is 3 weeks ago. A thumbs up emoji. In response to a video I sent him of a dog doing something absurd at a dog park. A thumbs up emoji, which is how James communicates, not because he doesn't feel things, but because he has always understood that the feeling was transmitted and did not require a verbal receipt. I stare at it for a long time. Fort Meade is in Maryland. Washington, D.C. was hit at 12:19 p.m., 15 miles, 80 kilotons. The kill radius for an 80-kiloton weapon is approximately 3 miles. Fort Meade is not in the kill radius. Fort Meade is in the severe blast damage zone, in the thermal radiation zone. I stop calculating. That direction leads somewhere I cannot go in this room with these people who need me to be level. So I put the phone away and I sit in the dark and I breathe, 1 breath, 2, 3. The way James taught me to slow down when I was 12 years old and having a panic attack about a test at school. He was 9. He put both hands flat on my chest and said, "Breathe with me," and counted with absolute authority until I was calm. He was 9 years old, and he knew exactly what to do. He has always known what to do. Keisha slides along the wall and sits beside me. We sit in silence for 2 minutes before she speaks. "Were you close?" she says, not really a question. "He's the reason I knew to run," I say. "The reason any of us are down here." She nods. "Darnell's father was in the towers," she says. 48th floor, Tower 2, he walked out. Darnell has been quietly preparing ever since, the cots, the supplies, the generator. He never told anyone. He was embarrassed by it. Said it made him sound like one of those people. "It made him someone whose family is alive," I say. She makes a sound that is not quite a laugh, but related to one. "He's embarrassed the generator didn't work." "Don't bring it up." "I know." We sit in the dark and the children shuffle cards somewhere to our left, and Patricia turns a page in her Bible with the deliberate patience of someone who has been reading the same book for 60 years and is not finished with it yet. And somewhere above us, past 9 floors of concrete and 7 days of fallout, a city we both know by heart has been rearranged into something we don't have a map for yet. But we are here. All 6 of us are here. I do not say this out loud, because saying it tempts the kind of thinking that makes people careless at the last minute. But I feel it. We are going to open that door tomorrow. Day 7, Meal 13. One meal from the door. I open the notebook to page 1. Day 1, 12 p.m., supplies for 7 days, 6 people. I look at the supply table. We are not out of food. We are not out of water. We have used every milliliter and every calorie with precision, and nothing has run dry, and all 6 of us are sitting in this room, thinner, unwashed, wearing the same clothes for 7 days, sick of the smell of each other and of ourselves, but alive. All 6. I write in the notebook. Day 7, Meal 13 complete. Status, all persons present, responsive, ambulatory. East wall crack sealed and stable. Vent cycles completed, all 14. Radio operational. Remaining supplies, 600 ml water, 4 energy bars. Recommended opening time, tomorrow 12:17 p.m. The exact moment the bomb hit. 8 days to the second from impact. I show it to Darnell. He reads it. He sets the notebook down and looks at the door for a long time. Then he checks his watch. Then he looks at Maya. "What do you want for meal 14?" he asks her. She thinks about this with the gravity it deserves. "Peanut butter and crackers," she says. "Same as meal 1. "Yeah," Darnell says, "all right." Nobody sleeps much the night before day 8. Not from fear, or not only from fear. There is something in the room that feels like barometric pressure before a storm changes. An atmospheric awareness that something is about to shift, that the long static state of the last 7 days is about to become something with motion and direction. Darnell checks his watch every 20 minutes. I know because I am doing the same with my phone screen. We do not acknowledge it. 12:17 p.m. Day 8. Darnell stands at the fire door with the key ring. I stand beside him with the multi-tool in one hand and a roll of tape in the other, so that if we open the door and something looks wrong, we can reseal within 30 seconds. "How do we know it's safe?" Keisha says. She's not afraid, she's asking for the number. "We know the 48-hour threshold passed 168 hours ago. We know the standard recommended minimum is 7 days. We know we have used it. We know we have 4 energy bars and 600 milliliters of water remaining and no choice." She nods. "In 95 on," I say. All 6 of us put on our masks. Patricia adjusts hers with both hands, careful and precise. The twins put theirs on and look at each other and decide simultaneously that they look ridiculous, and for 1 second both of them almost smile. Darnell puts the key in the lock. He looks at me. I nod. He turns it. The door opens. The corridor is dark. The smell hits first, concrete dust and cold air and something underneath, something that should not be there. Not radiation. Radiation has no smell. Something organic. Something that was warm not long ago. Darnell sweeps his flashlight left. Pipes, concrete wall, clear. He sweeps right. Clear to the base of the stairs. At the base of the stairs, in the corner where the wall meets the bottom step, a shape. A person. Seated with their back to the wall, head down, motionless. Gray jacket covered in ash. I cannot tell if they are breathing. I cannot tell how long they have been there, whether they came in before the blast or after, whether they came from the building above or from outside, whether they are the only one or the first of many. I take 1 step forward. The shape moves. Slowly. A head comes up. A face in the flashlight beam. Male, 30s. Face completely gray with ash except where sweat has cut channels through it. Dark circles so severe his eyes look sunken. Eyes that have been in the dark longer than mine have a specific kind of exhaustion that is not about sleep. He holds up one hand. In it is a phone. Screen lit. One bar of signal barely, flickering at the edge of nothing. And on the screen, visible even from where I'm standing, a text message notification. Received 6 hours ago. I look at the sender name. My heart stops moving forward. I cross the corridor in 4 steps and take the phone from his hand. The message is 4 words and a location. 4 words. I read them 3 times. The man is watching me. He has the specific patience of someone who has been sitting in a dark corridor for an unknown number of hours waiting for a door to open. I look up at him. Where did you come from? He says a name. A facility name. A place that took a direct hit at 12:19 p.m. 7 days ago. A place I have been not thinking about for 7 days. And everything, the rationing, the seals, the vent cycles, the 14 meals, the calculated survival, the deliberate keeping level, all of it comes apart in my hands like wet paper, and I am standing in a basement corridor in lower Midtown with a phone in my hands and a message I don't know how to process and a stranger watching me from the floor. Darnell's hand lands on my shoulder. Steady. Marcus. I look at him. His face says, I know I heard hold on, not yet. I close my hand around the phone. I breathe. 1 breath. 2. 3. I have been underground for 7 days. I am about to go back above ground for the first time. And the city I grew up in is going to look like something I have never seen before. One thing at a time. The stairwell goes up 11 steps to the lobby level. I go first with the flashlight, Darnell directly behind me. The family waits at the corridor door. The stairwell is intact, dust on every surface, a fine gray-brown layer, the texture of talc. My footsteps leave clean prints in it. The handrail is still solid. The walls have not moved. The lobby door is jammed. Not locked, warped. The frame has shifted 3 centimeters in the blast and the door no longer sits true. I work the multi-tool into the gap between door and frame and lever it. Darnell adds his shoulder. It opens on the 3rd attempt. The lobby is recognizable. That is the first surprise. I expected wreckage I had built over 7 days in the dark, a mental image of the city above as something total and permanent, a ruin without precedent. What I see is damage. The front glass doors are gone entirely, frames twisted outward. The ceiling tiles have come down in sections, exposing the ductwork above. The front desk has shifted 4 feet. A crack runs diagonally from the corner of the entrance up through the east wall. But the building is standing. I walk to where the front doors were. I stand in the opening. And I look at the street for the first time in 7 days. Everything is the same color. Everything is gray. Gray dust on every surface, the parked cars, the sidewalk, the awnings, the fire hydrants, the pigeons that are somehow still present and are also gray. The sky is overcast, pale gray-white. The sun a disk behind cloud that gives no warmth and no direction. 1 block south, a building has partially collapsed. The upper 4 floors of the building on the corner are simply absent, replaced by a pile of material that has spread across the sidewalk and into the street. Dust still rises from it slowly, thinning as it goes up. There is no sound. Not silence, not quite, but the city that never stops making noise is making almost none. No traffic, no construction, no conversation. Distant from the south, something that might be fire but might be wind. I stand in the doorway of my building and look at this and understand, for the first time without the buffer of abstraction and calculation, what has happened. Not to the city. To the world. 3 capitals, 3 simultaneous strikes. Whatever came after those strikes, the response, the retaliation, the cascading consequences, I don't know. The FEMA broadcast has been giving us what it knows, which is not enough, and what it knows has been getting darker by day. Darnell comes to stand beside me. We look at the street together. What do? He says. I look at the phone still in my hand. 4 words and a location. From a number I know. From a facility that took a direct hit. We follow the message, I say. And the thing I have been not thinking for 7 days is now the only thing. You just survived the first 24 hours. Marcus has the message. He has the location. He doesn't know yet what he'll find when he gets there. Subscribe so you don't miss episode 3. Coming Friday.